Hi, this is Lance Edwards, and I'm here doing the favorite part of what I do is interviewing some successful students of our newest Circle of Champion members. We have Julie Kacin and Michael Perry, and we're here in Florida. We're actually at the Orlando event, the Live Boot Camp, and they have wholesaled a 40-unit apartment building to a buyer out of Canada, made $45,000, and got paid up front ahead of closing, which is all good, really good. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you know, one of the things, let's start with this. Probably, if you could share with everyone, what is your real estate background? What were you doing? What got you going in apartments? How did you learn this stuff?
Well, I got my real estate license when the market was about to crash. And Mike and I have known each other for quite a number of years, and we've always dabbled in real estate together. So for the last 2.5 years or so, we've been dabbling and going to educate ourselves on small apartments. And then we decided to come to your function, and you had us do the homework assignment. We went home and did the assignment. We were very tired, and we turned it in, and ours was one of the calls that you did. And from there, the broker sent us the information, and we made contact with the broker. That first deal didn't pan out, but it was exactly like you taught us. You know, do a rapport, you get a rapport with the broker, and he wound up sending us other deals, and it so happened to be the 40-unit apartments. And we went from there, and we wound up wholesaling it to a buyer out of Canada.
All right, so hold on. Let me pause you there.
Okay.
Now, first of all, a couple of things. So, this deal, the property, where was it located?
In Fayetteville, North Carolina.
And where do you guys live?
We live here in Florida.
We live here in Florida.
Florida.
Space Coast.
So you're doing this across state lines.
Yes.
Across
Yes.
state lines. And you got it, it's a broker lead
Yes.
from building rapport,
Right.
which costs nothing to get, right?
Exactly.
All right, so you got this lead, you got it from a broker, you got it under contract. Talk a little bit about the process. What was the negotiation process getting it under contract?
We submitted one of the letters of intent in the format that you have here.
The three options?
With the three
Yes.
options. Came back, they took the option where it was a standard. We actually went back and forth on price a little bit. We agreed at $750,000, which was $18,750 per door.
Good.
Place had only 11 units occupied, though.
Oh, low occupancy.
Yeah, very low occupancy. We actually thought we would try to do it ourselves, and we tried to do some
We tried.
financing. We tried several. There's a lender in South Carolina that I've known. She said she could do it if we could get the seller to agree to $250,000 down, but he'd hold the mortgage. So that's completely turned around from what we first agreed to. So I did some more negotiating, and we actually got him to agree to that. Then it turned out a little later she couldn't do that, so we were back to square one. And without going through the next 2 or 3 steps that we renegotiated several times, actually at the end got him to negotiate to where he would take $50,000 down. I suggested I could raise the price to $800,000 if he'd take $50,000 down, and for 15 months instead of 12 months. And that he agreed to that. And that's when Andrew, the buyer, came along, and the deal was good for him because we'd negotiated it the way we did, so he only had to come up with $50,000 down.
So I'll pause there, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Purchase price is now $800,000.
Yeah, but
$50,000 down,
Right.
And the rest is seller finance?
The rest is seller finance at 5% for a
Yes.
year, with quarterly payments starting after 90 days. Also, the brokers...
Payments starting after 90 days.
90 days.
Because they had to do some
Yeah,
fixing.
I wanted 90 days to get it, because we had some rehab. The rehab was going to run, they weren't bad, they only needed like 2,000, maybe most of those units, a couple of them needed about 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah.
It's just poorly managed, the guy just didn't care. He owned about 300 mobile home properties.
And needless to say, the investor from Canada was very happy too that we.
Well, I guess so, because you can go bank qualifying. And
Yes.
Well, that was a great deal for him.
Yes.
He didn't go in with much. He had about $60,000 in rehab costs. And the upside on it, according to the, and we actually got comps from the broker, when it was fully rented out, was like $1.4 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
now, so you got this great deal you negotiated. No bank qualifying. The only cash he needs to raise is his down payment money, his rehab money, and your fee.
Right.
So talk about the negotiation with the buyer over your fee. What was that process
it
like?
was not too difficult. We talked to him. He loved the fact that it was only $50,000 down. He wanted to see the property. He was actually in Fort Myers, Florida, when we talked to him the first time, and was going back to Canada. He had just closed selling that 26-unit complex he had. He said, "I'll go up there tomorrow." So he flew up on his way back to Canada. We had him see the broker and the property manager that we would be dealing with up there, who was not the property manager on the property at the time. We had actually taken a trip up there and spent 2 days looking
And
at
met
the
the
property.
property manager.
So you actually saw
We met the
Yes.
broker, we met the property manager. He spent his day up there. We called the broker a little later the next day and said, "What did you think?" He said, "Hey, I like the guy. He was pretty cool and he seemed to get along with us." We had a discussion with him, with the property manager. The next day we had a discussion with Andrew, it's his name. Okay. And he liked everything. Said, "I think I can do that. Give me a day or two." He got back to us and he agreed. That was it.
So the broker knew you were signing the contract?
Yes.
Yes.
He actually met your buyer, your
Absolutely,
buyer.
yeah, we did
Yes.
that all up front. Yeah.
Now, one other thing, let's talk about this, because this is another cool part of many cool parts of this deal, is you got that $45,000 paid up front ahead of closing.
That's not completely. We got 20,000 of it paid.
20,000 up front.
The rest will be paid over a year,
Okay.
starting in December 1st. 2,500 a month, well, it's actually 11 months because the buyer
With
insisted on adding interest for
Yeah.
us waiting. So he's giving us 11 months at 2,500 to make up a 10% interest on the 25,000.
So your 45,000 assignment
Right.
is 25,000 up front and payments.
It was 20,000 up front
20,000.
plus 25, but he gave us a wire transfer for 25,000 because we had put a $5,000 earnest money deposit.
Reimburse you.
So
So
when we
we
discussed
reimburse
that, I
us.
said, "Why don't you just reimburse us that and you can go in with 45 because it's already there."
Sure.
We don't have to get involved with the attorney up there and send it back to us and all the rest of that.
Perfect.
And it worked out fine. And we actually, the day before I sent him to sign assignment of contract, he wired funds to our account for the $25,000.
Perfect. So,
And he's now actively working that project up there. It only closed August 24th, and today is what, September 28th.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I got a question for you. You've got this, I know you guys have been doing houses together. We got this first apartment deal together.
Yes.
What's next for your business? What's next?
We're going to just continue. We are right now,
Right now.
within a day or two. I just sent, after we did our homework last night.
You gotta do more homework.
I talked to the broker yesterday because I had sent another LOI out for a different complex. Same guy, same broker, 30 unit. Okay, and he came back to me last week with seller said he'll do this except for this, this, and this. Okay, so we responded. We've been busy this week because we had a closing on Tuesday, as I told him, and I told him I'd get it back to him, and I called him yesterday afternoon from here and said, "Tony, this has been hectic, but I'll get it back to you tonight, okay?" And I had sent him back our response, but I sent him an email to respond to his email. And he called us yesterday while we were here and said, "No, I really have to have another letter of intent with all this stuff in it, signed by you." I said, "Okay, tonight." So we did our homework till 11:30 last night, took her home. She lives right around the corner from me anyway. Came back and did the two, because there's the 30 unit, the 32 unit, and the sixplex that we're buying up there. So
Up there being where Fayetteville?
Fayetteville again,
Fayetteville,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
I think I sent I had to redo the letter of intent. Just it's on the computer, so you just change it all, right? Put all the change terms in there. I did that and actually mailed that out at 12:52 this morning to the broker. And then I did the sixplex, and that took another 15, 20 minutes. That went out. I was looking at the time because she did things I'm anal that way. 1:02 this morning, it went out to Fayetteville.
Very good.
And on the way here this morning, we called him to make sure he got them both. He said, "Yeah, I've already sent them off to the seller, so I should have that done." and he'll be actually making the contracts up.
And this one, we are in the process of trying to do it ourselves.
Hang on to it.
So we found some funding, and
Yeah, it's kind of a joint venture type thing.
Yeah.
Private investors, they're
Perfect.
gonna
Yes.
put up the entire purchase price, which is 800,000 on those. The rents on that particular project is higher. So, we're gonna pay.
So the moral of the story is come to the boot camp and do your homework.
yes.
Right.
Tough these deals pop out.
Because it's a joint venture, there'll be a split, okay? They're gonna put up the entire 800,000 purchase price, about 100,000 in rehab, and, when we get it sold, the up end would be about $1.3 million, okay? And we would get 60%, they get 40.
Nice,
So 200,000 to.
nice.
That's life-changing for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
So, be life-changing for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask this, you guys have got the first deal under your belt, things are rolling, we got people that are gonna be watching this who are brand new, maybe never even done a deal of any kind, trying to decide they should get in real estate, should they get into apartments. Having gone through this process, from your heart, what's the single most important thing you think you learned from this process?
In my case, Mike has been in real estate way longer than I have, but it was the fear that you talked about. You gave me the push to do what I needed to do and feel like I was able to do that. And I have not been to any seminar that has made me feel like that actually was like hands-on. Here you go. I started it for you. Take the reins and be successful.
Good.
And you made me feel successful.
Wow, very
Yes.
gracious, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mike, what was you?
For me, it was I hate to say it, but it was like a refresher or something. I've done some of those type deals before, a while back. I had a doctor partner back in the 80s that had $65,000 in cash that he wanted to see if I could make him $35,000 a year with. And over 2.5 years using that seed money, we purchased 46 properties, $4.5 million worth of property.
Very good.
Some of them were apartments, like a 16 unit, that was a value play. We actually bought an entire city block in the city of Sanford here in Orlando area for no money down. It was all seller finance,
Good.
stuff like that. So at the end of 2.5 years, we had 106 rental units, bringing in $42,000 a month in rental income, with about $28,000 going out in mortgage payments. And some of those loans were like 2 years left to pay on and stuff. So it was just and I have been semi-retired for probably 20 years, just doing a little vacant land here and there, buy a lot for $600-700 from a tax delinquent.
Yep.
And sell it for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and she was handling some of that for me. We've done some together, and it was just like, yeah, let's do something. And that's the same principle that I learned years ago when I was living in Hawaii. I wanted to build some houses. And I took a look at the market and I said, why would I go build a house over here in Hawaii? Of course, a standard house is $200,000. I chose to build up where I wanted to live, which was a $700,000 range house, 5,000-6,000 square foot houses. I wound up building about 9 of those over a 2.5 year period. But every time I built a house and sold it, I made $120,000, $130,000. Having built a smaller one, I would have made 40, but the process was the same. And that's the point I'm making about this. We've been doing some single family houses. Tuesday, we closed on a house that we sold for $50,000. And we spent, 6 weeks rehabbing that house for about $10,000. We paid $22,500 for it. We put 10 into it, and we sold it for $50 and closed Tuesday, cash sale, right? But for that same process, that was actually more work than the $45,000.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's the point. Thank you. That was actually less work.
And stress.
Yeah.
It really was. You're absolutely right. Yes.
So
yes.
And we want to do another one.
Yes.
In fact, we had a conversation about that after we did that. We said, maybe two more of those before the end of the year.
Why not?
$45,000 sign.
Why
And
not?
we're working on that.
Why not?
Yeah.
I never would have thought that I would be selling and wholesaling apartment buildings. It was like when we went looking at them, it was like just like a little thought in my head, you know. And then we came here, and I'm just really, really excited.
Well, and you know what's the most fun? You know how it is with people around you, you know, yeah, okay, sure, right. But when, and especially her husband, okay, when we
Our
actually,
best critics, what you were talking about in the class.
when we
Sometimes they
actually,
live in your homes.
family.
Yes.
when we actually showed him the wire with that $25,000, that he was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. maybe-
I believe.
But you know, it's fair with them too.
Yes.
It's fair with them too. So I had to take the step.
Well, I
And
could
I'm
see it.
glad I did.
I can just see it in your demeanor. I can see it
Thank you.
in your
But
confidence.
it's like that so much, you know. One last thing, and I'll stop there. But back in the 80s, also, just before I met that doctor, I built a 72-unit condominium and a 72-boat marina
Okay.
right on the river down there near Palm Bay. No money out of pocket. $8.5 million to build project, praised out at about $12.5 million. Okay. Everybody I knew in the world, parents, ex-wife, etc., you're never going to do that. Okay. Because you've never done something like that before. It took a year and a half, and I got turned down 11 times by different lenders until I found a joint venture partner, mortgage banker in Nevada, who I knew from a previous deal, that said, oh, that sounds interesting. And we went from there. And that project stands there 30 years later, right here now.
I love it when I tell you you can't do that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
But you know, even with all your experience,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
until we came to this class and we sat with your
I agree.
guys in there, he was teared up on the way home. I said, because he was hearing things like, why aren't you doing this? Look at all your experience. Why aren't you doing it?
I told you, I laid off for about 12 years. I really didn't do too much of anything.
You kind of resurrected
yes,
the juice
exactly,
back in. Yeah.
exactly. So I guess it really doesn't matter how much experience you have. Like, you know, somewhere along the line, you can, like, your fear factor can come back, and you know. And I just am glad that he came also, because he's been like a mentor to me.
I can see
also.
that. That's fabulous.
So,
Yeah. Been a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, I can see it. We do a lot together. I can see it already. You guys are doing great. You got to knock it out of the park. You got to knock it out, and it is going to be life-changing for you, by the way.
Thank you very much.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, everyone, you heard it themselves. Julie Kacin, Michael Perry, this apartment deal, $45,000 flip. Great negotiation on it. Great $50,000 down, $750,000 carry back. You can't do those deals. Oh, thank you. I guess we will. Here they go. Go out and do it. And came for the training, but applied it. And so, you know, you can do the same thing, just like make it life-changing, just like we're describing here. So my instruction to you, go out and do the same thing. Get yourself to a boot camp, do the homework assignment. Maybe that's part of the moral, the lesson learned here.
I absolutely believe that if we had not gone home and done that homework assignment, we probably would have not gotten what we got done.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, this is Lance Edwards, our newest Circle of Champion members. Look forward to interviewing you on your success story.
Yeah.
Take care.
Good luck to
Thank
you all.
you.